Hi guys, I want to give just like a short little blurb about this special book that I'm reading right now that we're going to be talking about in March. I want to talk about why I decided to choose this book. So if you want to know why I decided to choose this book and some of my first impressions of the book to decide whether you want to read the book with us or not too, you should definitely come back and join me, okay? Okay, so the book that I'm talking about is this one. It is called 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. So, it's funny, right? I have a book blog. It's called The Black Book Space. The link is below in the description box. I'm very passionate about spreading the word about books written by Black authors because they do not get the credit that they deserve, okay? You know I'm a romance novel person. I really wanted to put on an event that showcase Black authors, and I wanted to start small, so I decided to go with this book for a few reasons. First of all, it was a book that I had not yet read. I didn't want to talk with anyone about a book that I'd read a long time ago. I wanted to read books alongside people and then come together on a level playing field and talk to them about the book, because originally I'd considered having an event for the book, and this most likely will happen in the future, The Other Black Girl, because it is also one of my favorite books and I've never really had the chance to talk in depth as I'd like to about the book. So at some point I'll do that too, but since it's been a while since I read that book, I decided to go with this one. Now, this book came as a recommendation from a podcast that I listened to called The Reading Black Girls, which is an amazing podcast. You guys have to check it out. And the way they described this book just like blew my mind. I was like, that book sounds like really different, and it's true. So one of the things that, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, that really touches me about this book is the level of trauma that the characters experience. And despite that trauma, they go on to live lives that they're both, I'd say that most people around them are probably very proud of, but they don't know the other things that they go through, okay? So it's something that I think many of us witness on a regular basis because trauma these days is so prevalent. Everyone is experiencing some level of trauma in some way because of the things human beings decide to do to each other, okay? So a lot of that is in this book. Can talk about racial trauma, discrimination, rape, anything going on. All of those things came up in this book. Well, not all of those things. See, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but many things came up in this book that, made it apparent that these two were going through that in their young lives, and they were there for each other during that time, and that helped to shape their adult lives. It really gave me a peek into the types of things that people go through regularly that you truly don't know about. That is why I love this book, because it isn't as if Tia Williams romanticized what they were going through, but she definitely gave the impression that it's really important for us to be there for each other for things like this. And if you have a person that's there for you during that time, they'll probably come back in your life again, or they'll just be a very significant part of your life at that time, and that's it. But in this one, they did come back together again. I don't want to give any spoilers. I feel like I'm kind of giving spoilers. Sorry if I am. Point is, you need to read this book because it gives so much insight into a struggle that we don't really talk about very often. It gives insight into how people turn their trauma into almost like a way of life. So they both became writers, and it turned out that they were writing about things that they knew firsthand, and none of the public understood it that way at all. I think that's the most beautiful part. They knew who they were writing about when they'd read each other's work, but the public didn't know. So it was like this massive secret, literally them against the world. So if you are looking to read a wonderful, very romantic, beautifully penned book like this, you definitely should check out 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, because it is quickly becoming my favorite book. It's also very funny. So Eva, the main character, has a daughter named Audrey who is a little entrepreneur, and she's a therapist to the other children in her school, and just all the shenanigans she gets into. And it also talks about her relationship to her daughter based on the relationship she had with her mother. And I think that we're in a time right now, 2023, you know, like this time that we went through where people are realizing like how they were raised is different, how they're raising their children, or they're raising their children the way that they thought they never would, or their childhood affected the way they were. Just so many things that I feel like she did a really great job illustrating that in this book. Okay, so here I'm gonna give a little spiel, something else that really stood out to me, because you know I love quotes from books. So Eva had trained herself not to care why Shane had abandoned her. Instead, she took it as a lesson. Ever since that day 15 years ago, she'd never allowed herself to be left again. Husband, hookup, long lost lover, it didn't matter. Eva always left first. So that kind of illustrates how this situation in her life with this guy, this person, how it shaped how she dealt with other people going forward, how she made sure that she was never left, that she was always the one who left first. I thought that was really interesting. Eva also deals with a lot of physical pain too. That is not something that comes up a lot in most romance novels I read. It's not as if, I'm not saying that other characters are perfect by any means, but they don't deal with things like chronic pain. Chronic pain is something that many people deal with, and Tia Williams decided to pull it into her book and make it almost a separate character in the book. So I can't say anymore, okay? I can't. But I do want you to join me. You're considering, if this book is like wetting your whistle, because it's really, really good, I highly recommend you grab a copy and you join us on March 5th for the Epic Book Chat, because it's going to be epic and I'm very, very excited about it. You will meet a lot of other really like-minded people who love talking about books all year round, and you'll meet a friend or two and read something and learn something. It's gonna be great. So join us. The link is in the description box. And I hope whatever you do is something that brings you joy. Bye.